Right, couple of things. First of all, I've got two panting Frenchies here, Frenchie Bulldogs. I'm out in the park and I'm throwing ball for them, so that's why I'm here. So they will come up and they will make that noise. It's not a heavy breather, so don't bother commenting. Second thing is a mate of mine, a friend of mine, Bruce, alright Bruce if you're watching, who's in France. He's one of my students and one of my friends, and he's also an awakened brother at this time. He reached out to me to say, could I make a clip to talk about, if I haven't got a theme, he suggested a theme, and that being, how do we remain authentic to our soul whilst being what you might determine is still a good man? Well, first you've got to determine what a good man is. Do you want to be a good man as far as you're considered by the rest of the non-player characters and the sheep? Or do you want to be a good man that's true to your soul, to your authentic self? Because they're two different things. One's going to be a character that you use conformity to, so that nobody thinks you're out of the norm. That's what you don't want. That doesn't make you a good person. That makes you a fucking idiot that follows. Or you can be true to your authentic self because you know something is wrong. You know that you are a multi-dimensional being having a human experience within this skin suit inside of this fucking clown show simulation, which is breaking down rapidly, which is falling apart rapidly. The system is rapidly breaking down and the rest of the NPCs don't even notice it. They don't even see it. So how do you stay sane in that, right? First off, well, first of all, you've got to accept that waking up is a lonely fucking journey. And then you've got to strive to be true to yourself and recognise that authentically you are here to become your highest self, right? So the best version of you that you can, and you are here for a purpose if you're awakened at this time, to help contribute to others doing the same. Because understand that this is a battle for soul. This is a spiritual battle for your soul, for your humanness. They want to do away with all humanness and replace it with AI. They want to take your feelings, your thoughts away. They say you're flawed because you have negative thoughts and feelings that make you feel bad. Well, they create that, but they say that you suffer pain and you suffer loss, and that's true. And that we are flawed for that, and we shouldn't feel any of that. We shouldn't feel anything. I mean, conversely to that, then you're never going to feel true love. You're never going to feel what your purpose is in life. You're never going to feel joy, real, true happiness in the true sense of the word, because there's no front without back. So, but they believe that we're flawed, and we are flawed. We're flawed in a number of ways, namely because of how we've been dumbed down. And of course, this, at least this body is mortal. This soul piece that you are, this godlike soul part of or spirit that you are, will continue, will go on. And right now, this is a battle for soul. So previously we talked about, or many people have talked about soul trap. You've been trapped, you've been reincarnated here with a memory wipe just to suffer, just as harvested for energy. All that's old hat news, we know that. But once they make the biological connection to AI, they don't need humans. And they want to replace us with AI. So if you look at Greg Braden, he was talking about how they've developed the first baby without a mother's womb. Science has developed a child, a baby, the means to create a baby artificially that can be genetically engineered to wherever you want. Now, as he says, if they have that technology, just because they can do it doesn't mean they should, because of course it's taking away all humanness. That's what this attack is. This attack is on the sacred divine feminine, to take away divine feminine, divine womb, divine creation, and replace it with something else. So they don't need us anymore to trap and harvest, but they're cunts, so they're never going to let your soul go easily. So this battle is for soul. It's a battle for your humanness, to maintain soul, to maintain your humanness when you leave this realm. And there's very many cultures separated by many years and many miles, that talk about the same thing, and they say that, you know, don't go to the light. Don't go to the light, the false light. Stand in the dark, and you will go to the true light, so that you won't be fooled, you won't be trapped. The thing is, this is 6th generational warfare, right? So you don't even know you're at war. And it begins with every single one of us as an individual. So whatever addictions you have, and we all have addictions. It could be shit food, could be coffee, could be cigarettes, could be alcohol, could be porn, could be gambling, could be drugs, soft drugs, hard drugs. Any number of things just to escape the fucking madness of this shit show. You will be one of your battles. Your fears, what you fear doing, what you fear losing, what you fear having to sacrifice to make a change, is a battle. And we've all got our own personal battle. And most people don't know that they're personal battles, and they've got to fight them and get them right, because that's the battle for soul. And then we've got the collective battle for soul, which is what I've just said on a huge scale. Yeah, they just want to create a world where we just want to, you know, none of us want to be there. You know? And they're doing a pretty fucking good job, particularly for people that are not awakened. You know, NPCs that are just put there to make the rest of the souls follow, and then confused souls that don't know what to do just follow blindly, particularly if they've got no real spark to them yet. But if you have got a spark to you and you are awakened, you will remain fucking defiant, because you'll know that you are a lot more than what they lie to you about. And that the battle now, just as the Cathars talked about, look at the old Gnostic texts yourself, they talked about, the goal must be to escape this realm intact with your soul. And then that fragment of soul will go back to spirit, which is the grand architect. This is the beliefs of some. Now, how do you navigate that? Well, first of all, you've got to realise it's a lonely path. Then you've got to strive to, once you realise what you are, really care for yourself. Start to love yourself on a number of levels. Not narcissistically, just start to love what you are. Start with your body. Get your body healthy, well, detoxed, strong, fit, capable. And your mind will follow. Use critical thinking, question everything, don't just follow programs. And find your drive from your heart. You know, those of us that are awakened at this time, I guarantee you, we have a fucking purpose. You need to find what your purpose is, and I guarantee that your purpose will be something along the lines of getting your mind, body and soul in an authentic line, in alignment, out of respect to the God part that you are. That's your goal. Yeah. To be your authentic self. That means shout your truths when you're fucking scared with your shakiest voice. Stand up when everyone's bowing. Stand up against all wrongdoing with righteous indignation at this time. And understand that you have the power to co-create your experience here, as I've said many times before. So imagine this is a fucking simulation script drawn out by something. And imagine it was hijacked by some sort of virus, some sort of legion. It's manifested itself many times as many different things. The commonality of creative despair and fear. Call it whatever fucking name you want. Caesarian Mafia, Anunnaki, Romans, Rome, ancient Rome, Nazi Germany, monarchy, government. It's all the fucking same. It's just it's all the same virus. And that is what's attacking soul, right? So the objective now would be to be as authentic as you can, true to yourself, no matter what. We all die, we all leave this body, but I believe the soul's eternal when it goes on. And this time, if you escape intact, we can go home. And I believe that would be like being a golden grain of sand that I am, returning to Earth infinite golden beach. So just imagine, if you would, just for a second, imagine all this is code, as I've been led to believe, and all consciousness, so everything that is, ever has been, ever will be, infinitely, is God mind, the grand architect. And you couldn't imagine that enclosed in something because it's infinite, but imagine all that is the grand architect, what created us. I believe that's two energies, male and female, and I believe it was benevolent, and I believe it was fucking hijacked by a virus. And the battle now, for those of us that are awakened, would be to go home. Now, imagine that grand architect as infinite data, and one speck of that data was planted in your body, became you, through whatever process, became you. So that's what all consciousness is, right down to the lowest level of consciousness, which will be some gnat, pond life insect, through various plants and trees and animals and reptiles and cattle and all animals, dogs, cats, primates, you name it, through to human. Not that I believe we evolved from primates, absolutely not. But all, the point is, it's an expression of consciousness, an expression of God data, having an experience. And that will one day end. So you will cease to be that element of consciousness within what you are now. So the goal should be, maybe, throwing it out there, should be to become the best version of you that you can become. Rather than despair about the things about yourself that you don't like or the experiences that you've had, understand that that's the character you. It's not the authentic you. The life that you've had and the character that you are now, particularly the way things are going and following the programming around you, yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. So you choose that. I don't choose that. I choose the most authentic version of me, mind, body and soul alignment, that I can become with the years, with the time, with the time that I've got left, however limited that will be, and that's your awakened journey, right? So that you can leave this realm with your soul intact, with the godlike part of you intact. Because every biological living thing on this planet has a limited time frame to experience consciousness. And so many leave, shuffle off this mortal coil with the best song unsung as humans. But if you are awakened at this time and you are despairing, well, go inward and focus on the most authentic part of you, the strongest part of you, that we all come from a martial warrior ethos, a martial warrior mythology, mythos, where no matter which way you trace your bloodline, your ancestors have known this kind of programming before. It's continuous, it's a loop. Look at the way these people work. They create a problem, reaction, solution, which was the goal all along. People just follow the programming. This isn't the first time for foreign invaders. This isn't the first time with the threat of hunger and the like. This is a fucking loop. So our ancestors got through a lot of this before us. And if we are the soulful beings that I believe we are, and we have had past simulations, we've been in earlier seasons of this fucking clown show, then that way that soul part of you knows despair, knows war, knows hardship, knows love, knows joy, knows fear, knows how to prevail. You just got to tap into that. Because if you look now at the way that they've pacified Western males, particularly the boys, you look at them, you would look and you would think, nah, that kid's never going to find his warrior ancestral or his warrior soul-like self ever. But I put it to you, it's not gone. It's not erased, it's just fucking dormant. I digress. Like I said, didn't really have a theme, and a friend asked me to do this clip, so I'm just rambling all sorts of things that have been going through my critical mind. But to me, being a good person would be being the authentic version of you. Don't lie to you, right? Stand up, speak your truths, and then seek to be the best version of you that you can be. You can't change events, you can change how you respond to events, right? And the other thing would be shorten your timeline. You know, don't worry about what's going to happen at the end of the year, next year, 5 years, fucking hell, any of that. Just focus around you in small steps. And inside of that, use your creative brain. Find your right side brain, not the left brain linear driven programming. Find your right side brain that allows you to create and manifest and put your intention and attention into things you can do something about. Now you'll see real magic. Now you'll see manifestation of things that are useful for you, and that will allow you to bypass the program thinking, which will keep you in the rut that we're in, that you may be in. We're all struggling at this time, right? All of us, collectively and individually. This is a battle for soul, and that means that this is a battle for your humanness. That's why when you look at people now, you're looking at program bots. That's why the system's breaking down around us and nothing's working, and people just don't even think there's anything wrong with that. This is why we are seeing what we are seeing. Deliberate broadcasts of news designed to fucking outrage you. And yes, they do outrage you. But while you're being outraged, you're being distracted. And while you're being distracted, what are you missing? So, 2 examples. The sick fuck that went into that little girls' school, dance school, and stabbed those baby girls. That fucking entity. Front page of the Sun today. Prison guards have been ordered to give him chocolate and McCoy's crisps. Designed to outrage. Inverted. And a friend of mine posted something about girl was brutally raped, beaten and fucking brutally raped, and she picked up a knife and she stabbed him to death during the rape, not after it, not before it, during the rape. So he raped her and she killed him. She got 17 years and she appealed her sentence, and the judge overturned it, so she'll do her time unless she gets another appeal in a few years. We're all still here. And the judge said, quote, women are forbidden to use a knife to stop any kind of brutal rape. You've got to ask yourself, who the fucking real enemy is it, right? So it's inverted. But what's it designed to do? 2 pieces of news today that I looked at that made me fucking want to go outraged. And it's righteous indignation, it belongs. You know, I'm old school. There's no fucking school like the old school. And I am outraged with righteous indignation that any of this bollocks is going on. But I'm also left with a choice, and that choice is, do I let that dictate my thinking, my internal dialogue, my thoughts, my feelings? Do I allow that to fuck up my current moments, moment to moment, because that's your existence, because your thoughts and your thinking are your existence, moment to moment to moment? Do I want to allow that purposeful outrage to dominate that? Or do I accept that I am indeed fucking outraged? And I will pick my battles, and I will choose when I'm fucking triggered. I will choose when I will use whatever resources that I have available to me to deal with whatever comes my way. I will deal with whatever comes my way with the same faculties and attributes that I have right now. Which means, moment to moment now, until that comes, I'm not going to allow it to dictate my life, dictate my experience. God, I feel for those children, I feel for that girl, would have done anything to be there at that time. There's never anyone like me there at a time like that. Trust me, I would have gratefully give my life fighting for those kids and fighting for that girl. I would have certainly took that fucking entities with me. But I wasn't there. And I know that if ever I see anything that's such outrageous wrongdoing and it's in front of me, I will do something. But I wasn't there. So I can allow it to outrage me and choose how I spend the rest of my week. Or I can recognise it, take it as energy, suck it down, store it up, take a big breath, and align my mind, body and soul authentically to the next task that's within my reach, my capability. And that's all we can do. But you are fucking stronger than you think, and you are not alone. And more are experiencing this awakening. And once you get through it, and there's a point you get through it, you get this bargaining acceptance thing where you actually realise, fuck me, there's no way I could go back to not knowing what I know. And what I believe suggests is that there's quantum plausibility out there. You know, in the etheric consciousness, every outcome exists. And it begins with your internal dialogue. So you could imagine almost two parallel worlds. And you're intertwined and you're interacting. But one that's following the programming is having one type of experience, and one that isn't is coexisting amongst them but having a completely different experience. In short, I guess you choose what you do with what you're given. But, you know, things have been amped up. I can feel it. There's an energetic. They're fucking about with that CERN thing or what, I don't know. But something is accelerating. And this system's got to fall. It's got to, for something else to be born. And don't be fearful of that. Be optimistic for that, because you're where you're supposed to be on this journey. There's no coincidences. Serendipitously, right? If you are awake at this time, there will be guidance. There will be direction. If you've got a purpose, you've got to find it. And I know that the purpose is, for all of us, is either find the means and the ability to save soul, keep your soul intact, mind strong. I don't intend to let it go any other way. And maybe that's your goal, just for you. Just that is the priority. Or maybe it's more. Maybe it's your goal is to prevail in your battle for soul. Your personal demons, your personal addictions, your personal battles. Win. Conquer them. Conquer you. Conquer mind. Protect your soul and show others how to do the same. Now, wouldn't that be a thing? So maybe you're written into this game, this simulation, at this time, to recognise there's the need to save soul, and there's a need to help others do the same collectively. Not everyone's going to make this, but some of us will make this, those that are supposed to. The path is going to narrow, and it will get harder before it gets better, but I do believe it'll get better. And regardless, you choose what you want to do with what you're given. Make it on your fucking terms to the end.